Hey everybody, Marcus here. I got a killer video for you, pardon the pun. It's called Killer Chupacabras in Mississippi, and it features my incredibly awesome friend, the one and only M.K. Davis. He's also my mentor, and he was so gracious years ago to take me under his wing and teach me and train me and school me when it comes to doing cryptid investigations and Bigfoot and just so many other things that we just don't have time to go into today. That would be a whole new video in and of itself. But we're going to dive right on into this because I don't want to have this video any longer than it really needs to be and so forth. But as most of you know, I've spent a whole lot of time lately out at Sky Lake due to weather factors and everything that weather-wise has been going on here in Mississippi. So as you know, there's a lot of high strangeness at Sky Lake. There's Bigfoot activity out there. There's Black Panther activity out there. There's paranormal activity out there. One of my last visits, I had a possible cryptid encounter with I don't know whether it was maybe a chupacabra, which the Mississippi chupacabra is not a paranormal or supernatural thing. Or is it? That's what we're going to be talking about in this video here. And you'll see the point of is it something supernatural, paranormal, cryptid. But we do know that the hybrid canine chupacabra is alive and well in the state of Mississippi. That's not even up for debate. There have been bodies found. There's been examples of them being shot and killed, and we have the carcasses, yada yada yada. This is different. What I'm fixing to tell you about is very different. What you're going to see is very different. But anyway, so Sky Lake has got a lot of strangeness going on for it. And I promised you guys that I would show you something that proves and brings into focus the strangeness out at Sky Lake. Okay, this is a case that came to M.K. Davis's attention years ago. And he was gracious enough to let me tag along with him one day when he did one of his follow-up interviews with a witness who we're going to refer to as Mr. T. No joke or no pun intended there about the A-team, okay? So I got to help MK interview Mr. T, and what I also learned from MK was this. A farmer, now this all took place about 7 or 8 miles from Sky Lake. Okay, so this is basically walking distance for cryptids. This is nowhere for a cryptid or whatever, or an animal to move around back and forth to. Okay, so excuse me. So this event went down like this. MK got word of a farmer having his livestock slaughtered one night on his farm and property. So he travels to this little town, and he proceeds to start and conduct his investigation. And I think MK was originally thinking that this might have been possible Bigfoot activity, but he very quickly realized that it was not. It fell into the realm of the chupacabra. So MK interviews the farmer. Now, I'm not going to give the farmer's real name. We're going to protect his identity. We're going to refer to him as Jim. We're just going to call him Farmer Jim. So he interviews Jim. He interviews Mr. T. And, he gets all this data, and he knows that these people are not lying. This is confirmed. When you watch the video interview with Mr. T, he confirms that the sheriff's department and the game and fish people, they confirmed to him that this was a chupacabra. They told him that it was the Chupacabra or Chupacabras that killed this man's livestock, and that these things were being seen in the neighborhood. This Mr. T's neighbor, the farmer, Jim, lives right down the road from him. So, you know, Mr. T and his wife, they're seeing these things. People in the neighborhood are seeing these things. These things have gone down and killed this man's livestock, not once, but twice. Now, I went back and I studied MK's video, and I made notes. I pulled out, you know, a lot of data and stuff from his investigation, and I'm fixing to read that to you, and we're going to go over that. Then we're going to watch the video with Mr. T. So here's the breakdown for this, okay? And some of this is really going to blow your mind. Now, at one point, I began to wonder, okay, because at one point Mr. T talks about the Chupacabra watching a crop duster fly overhead. And what he said this thing did as it's observing the crop duster made me go to Dogman territory. Now, the description of these creatures does not match Dogman. It doesn't. You know, I mean, it just doesn't. We've got to stay in the world of the Chupacabra here. I mean, could we just rule Dogman out? I think we'd come really close to having to rule Dogman out. But anyway, I'm fixing to read you the notes. And like I say, there's points off in here that is really going to go off into the realm of high strangeness. There's an aspect to this that I really haven't had much of a chance to talk with MK about this, but I probably will very, very soon. But here we go. Here's the notes, all right? All right. We have two witnesses. Well, three actually. We have Mr. T and his wife. They've seen these things. And then we have the farmer, who we will refer to as Jim. We're going to, again, protect his identity. All right. Jim is the farmer who lost his livestock. Okay. 1 year prior to MK Davis starting his investigation, Farmer Jim has his livestock attacked. He suffers his first loss. A year prior to MK starting his investigation. And this is what happened. I'm not sure of the time frame. I don't know if this happened in one night or over a series of nights, but here's the facts. Jim lost 18 hogs. He had 18 hogs killed by these creatures. All right? Now, get this. The heads were cut or torn off according to Jim. They were cut or torn off. This is according to Farmer Jim. All the blood was drank. There was no blood in the hogs left. And all the guts were eaten. They didn't eat any of the other meaty pieces of the hog. They only ate the guts and they drank the blood. Now remember what I said about the heads. We're going to come back to that here in just a minute. Okay, now this is a year prior to MK launching his investigation. MK goes to the neighborhood, he interviews Farmer Jim, and he interviews Mr. T. All right, what happened a year later was this. And as I understand it, I stand to be corrected. You know, if MK, you know, needs to correct me, that's perfectly fine. Again, this is his case, and I'm not taking anything away from him. Again, this was something that he did, that he allowed me to participate in. I'm very, very grateful for that. Okay. Now, stand to be corrected, but in one night, Farmer Jim had 3 hogs killed, 9 goats killed. 3 hogs killed, 9 goats killed in one night. All the blood was drank, no blood, ate the guts, and I'm not sure about the heads in this one. Again, that may be something I need to go back and verify. But all of the blood was drank, and nothing but the guts were eaten. Now again, that's 3 hogs and 9 goats in one night. Game, Fish, and Wildlife people, Sheriff's Department shows up. They show Farmer Jim a picture and said, this is what killed your livestock. They admitted. You're going to see that in the video you're fixing to watch. Now, let's go back. Farmer Jim has one more encounter with this Chupacabra, or a Chupacabra. And I think this was the big one. You'll see about that in the video too. Now you got to take into consideration here, Farmer Jim is ticked. He's lost his livelihood. I mean, one night, I mean, this guy is hurting from a financial standpoint here. He's all but wiped out. I'd be mad too. So weeks later, after this event has happened, according to my notes here, Farmer Jim sees this thing in the middle of the road. And he takes his pickup truck and he hits this thing. He hits it with everything his pickup truck has got. He waylays this thing. He's sitting there in his truck looking at this thing ahead of him in the road, and he thinks it's dead. But it's not dead. Jim said after a few minutes, this thing shook itself back awake or whatever from being stunned. It wasn't killed. But here's the crazy part. He said that this thing jumped up on its 2 back legs and ran off into the bushes. I'll say that again. It hopped up on 2 legs, its back 2 legs, and ran off into the bushes. Now, again, that sounds dogmanish. That sounds, but you also have to consider too that dogs and animals, domestic or wild, if they're hurt or they're injured and they feel the need to get away and survive, they could hop on their back legs. They could get themselves away to rest or recuperate or something, and they could do so potentially on their back legs. But again, this thing hops up and runs off on its 2 back legs. So that's what we glean there. Now, I'm going to say this very quickly so we can get on and let you watch the video. And I'll come back and close things out. Farmer Jim said that when the heads were removed, he said that they looked like they were cut off, with a knife or something like that. Precision. If a wild animal, a wolf, coyote, bobcat, mountain lion, something like that, if it goes to remove a head off of something, it's not going to be clean and precise the way Jim brought out in his interview with MK. I don't know what to think of that, but we do have to look at this. We have to consider this. You have to look into the cattle mutilation phenomenon. The cattle mutilation phenomenon goes way back. 60s and 70s, 80s was its heyday. We now have a spat of cattle mutilations that have fired back off out in the Midwest. And a lot of these mutilations, I'm not going to go into a big diatribe on the mutilation phenomena, but in a nutshell, livestock, horses, animals, have been found with body parts removed with a almost surgical precision. Another thing, real quick, Skinwalker Ranch. When the Sherman family owned Skinwalker Ranch, and it was also at the same time that Robert Bigelow owned Skinwalker Ranch, rather, the Shermans had sold it to Bigelow. They had an episode where a calf was mutilated broad daylight with the Shermans right out in the same pasture that this young calf got mutilated just within like an hour or so, or hours. And when the NIDS team, the National Institute for Discovery Science, came out and launched their immediate investigation, the test results showed surgical metallic instruments decimated this poor calf. And I'll let you look that up and find pictures and stuff like that because it's out there. So we've got a strange cryptid that is killing livestock, or cryptids, chupacabras, killing livestock, and heads being removed that were, according to Farmer Jim, almost like they were cut off. And we have a cryptid that takes a full blow from a pickup truck, gets up and runs off on two legs. I mean, that falls into the realm of high strangeness. I almost feel like there's a lot more going on here. Could it be government involvement? Could it be, the cattle mutilation phenomena is tied in with the UFO phenomena? That's what makes this case so fascinating. And MK did a heck of a job, as he usually does when it comes to investigating and looking into this stuff. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to play for you the video that MK and I conducted a few years back with Mr. T. Now I want you to again pay attention to when he describes this thing observing a airplane, crop duster. And I also want you to pay attention. This is one of the reasons why I'm making this video for you. Again, my time out at Sky Lake of late. At the end of the conversation, the subject of Sky Lake comes up. I want you to watch Mr. T's reaction. He talks very briefly about Sky Lake. And I'll point out something when we come back. So I'm going to stop recording this little first part of the video. So sit back, don't go nowhere. And this is the interview that was conducted by MK Davis and myself with Mr. T about the killer chupacabras. So here we go.
In the back like this. They had a long head, a long neck. Start screaming, "Come see this, what is this?" And I got up and I looked out the window. And he was about this tall. I'm going to guess it was about 6 feet long, but he was arched in the back like this. It had a long head, a long neck, and it never raised its head up no more than this high up off the ground. Even when the dog run up to it, when they chased the dog back, he didn't move that fast.
It chased the dog.
It chased the dog. The dog get too close, it just chased the dog a little bit. And then while we were standing there, these weeds were tall. Another one came out the weed.
So it was two of them.
It was two of them, and both of them had the same brown marking on their right shoulder, like a big old brown patch on their right shoulder. But they were white or beige.
What about hair? Did they have a lot of hair?
Slick skin.
Slick skin.
Slick skin.
Wow. Did you see teeth? How did it react toward the dogs? What did it do towards the dogs?
They never took no more 2 or 3 steps towards the dog, because the dog didn't get close enough for it to really get them. But the step, like I said, that's the only time it raised the head up a little bit. But when it stepped towards the dog,
did it have teeth, fangs?
Did you see that? I didn't see any. I didn't see any. But I tell you what, I never saw nothing like that in my life.
Well, how big would you put them? Pound wise, just guessing.
Pound wise, Wow. They're easily over 200 pounds.
That's big.
And two of them.
It was two of them. The smaller one was over 200 pounds. The bigger one, like I said, the bigger one about waist high to me. And I guess they was about, in length on all four, I guess they were about 6-7 feet long.
Now, this was last year in December, or?
I believe it was December.
Yeah. Now, the recent sightings, they were off in this direction,
They was off in that direction.
down the bayou. Okay. And you say a lady came and saw them in their headlights.
Right. My neighbor, my neighbor who lived in the blue house right there, she would come out from work at 11 o'clock, her and her granddaughter. And when she got home, when she turned up in the yard, there was one in the field on the side of the house. That they
Yeah.
A little while later, a lady that worked at Walmart, when she got off at 11 o'clock, was going around this way, and they were further around. One came out in front of her car one night. Now, the last thing that I'm aware of, about maybe 4 weeks ago, the man was coming from his hog farm around there, and he saw him right down the street here over in the woods. He said the airplane was going over poisoning. Said things stood up. That's what made him see it.
Oh, it stood up.
It stood up on his hind leg.
Stood up on his hind legs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Jeez.
Now that's the primary suspect for all the goat killings down this
That's
direction.
the primary suspect
Yeah.
for the goat.
They were just right, almost within sight, right around your house.
Right.
There.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he had 6 goats killed, 7
No,
goats,
it was 9. It was 9.
9 goats killed,
9
and then
4 hogs.
right, okay, and it didn't leave him much, did it?
Didn't leave him. Well, actually, no, all they ate was they sucked the blood and ate the intestines.
They didn't do anything with the meat,
They didn't do nothing with the meat.
and that's why he thought it was a chupacabra.
That's why everybody, I mean, a lot of people, not just us, but a lot of people thought it was a chupacabra.
Well, 2 of them anyway. Chupacabras.
Yeah.
Really not nothing to laugh about. We can laugh about it now, but you have experience with them, it ain't so funny, is it?
No, it's not. It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, well, if you see it, you wondering, okay, is this something off Star Wars or what? I mean, you know.
You said it had a patch on his
It
shoulder?
had a big old brown spot, what I call a patch, but a big old brown spot on his right shoulder.
And did it have a tail? The tail on?
It did have a tail.
It had a tail.
It had a
Okay.
tail.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So this thing had canine characteristics, would you say?
It had canine characteristics. Yes, I would say that, but it's in a. They wasn't fat. The body width wasn't no more than about this wide. They were just big. They were just tall and long, and their head was long and their neck was long.
And they could stand up on their hind
Now, the
legs.
guy that saw it about 3 weeks ago or so say it stood up on his hind legs.
Did he say how long it stood up on its legs?
He didn't say.
Didn't say.
I don't think he stuck around that long. He was in the car to find out.
I probably wouldn't either.
Well, that's
Excuse me, huh? I'm in the bag, babe. Okay, I'm sorry.
that's all right. We appreciate you taking time to tell us that. We just dropped in without any notice or anything. You know, we appreciate that.
But they're not gone. I can tell you that they're not gone.
So if a fella was to come out here at night and just ride the roads once or twice, and he may get lucky and see him. Yeah, yeah.
But the last sighting actually was in the daytime.
Daytime.
But they had no fur, no hair on their
They were
body, just
slick-skinned.
slick skin.
They were slick skinned. They were slick skinned. I was so scared. They scared me so bad I didn't see any hair. But they were slick skinned, both of them.
Well, how long was the head?
The hair was about this long. Looked like about this
Uh-huh.
long. But like I said, it stayed down. They never raised. The only time they raised it, but the head stayed about this close to the ground. But when you take a couple steps at the dog, you raise it up just a little bit.
So he mostly kept the head low.
Kept the head low.
Yeah. What do you think they were up to in your yard?
I have no idea.
You think they might have been just trying to get back to them goats, or?
And it might have been. Might have been. I don't know. And you know, I understand from the little research we done and the sheriff department and stuff that they stay around water.
Water. Well, we just heard a big bullfrog right down there. That would be that'd meet that requirement.
You said the sheriff department. I mean, have they came out and investigated?
The sheriff department did come out and investigate. In fact, the sheriff department, when I was I happened to go down to the sheriff office, and he was briefing all the deputies and officers, and said that they were real. He had contacted the head game warden in Vicksburg, I believe, and said that somebody had killed 1 or 2 over there, out in the woods.
But they didn't say what they were.
They said what they were. They called them chupacabras.
Huh?
Yeah.
So the sheriff's department and the game people,
Now
they referred to these things.
Now we only talk. They sent a game warden here from Madison, and what he tried to tell us was it was a mangy coyote.
Okay.
And I told him, I said, look, I said, you can take that anywhere you want to. I don't care. I know what I saw.
But
I don't know what it was, but it was not a coyote, and this thing was not mangy.
It was just something completely different.
Something completely different. In fact, the chief deputy at the time. Yes, ma'am. Okay. In fact, the chief deputy, the sheriff chief deputy, when he saw the picture of it, when they were passing a photo around, he said, I saw one of them, and I saw it on Washington Street one morning, because he patrolled up here every morning.
Well, there's a gentleman on around yonder who told me he saw a strange animal that crossed in front of his car in Isola on the highway, and he turned and put his lights on him out in the field and said that it was standing up by a tree. There was only one tree in the field, and it was standing up by the tree. He thought he was looking at a black panther that was about to go up the tree. But it never did go up the tree. It was just stood there.
So, I mean, they're real. I mean, you know, nobody can tell me they're not real.
You said they were passing around a photograph.
Was
this just a representation, or was it allegedly of a chupacabra?
No, I've seen the photograph.
It was a photograph of
You sent me a copy of it.
Right.
I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
I remember seeing it now.
It was taken with a game cam.
Okay, I remember now.
Yeah.
I remember now. Yeah, that's bizarre.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you filling us in. We're caught up. I might come through here and take a ride up and come through at night, but daytime. You say daytime just as good?
Well, I mean, the last sighting that I'm aware of, the guy did see it in
daytime.
In the daytime. He said he saw him under the tree, right down.
Well, I mean, if it's alive and it's breathing, it can be photographed. You know, if we can be at the right time, right place, take a good picture.
And you know, I charge that to me, not only that I didn't photograph, that I didn't kill it.
Because you could have.
I could have. But I'm amazed, you know, I'm sitting there wondering, what is this? And my gun was right there in hand reach of me, and I never thought about the gun like we were just saying.
I know the feeling.
My wife and I were just saying, what is that? We stood there, and there wasn't no 5 to 10 minutes just looking at it.
Well, they weren't scared. They weren't.
No.
They had no fear.
Scared with no, not at all. I'm telling you, they was here. They was standing here. We could see
under the light,
under the light. We could see everything on it from his feet to the top of his back, from his head to his tail. We could see everything. Well, what really amazed me, we looking at this one, and another one walked out.
It was up in the.
It was up in
the grass, and
in the grass, and he walked out.
Walked out to the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll thank you for the story. I thank you for the experience, and I may come back out and just drive through. I got a son that lives in Indianola, and I come through here all the time.
Okay.
Going up there to eat with him and stuff, and so I may just take a little gypsy down through here and see if he'll jump out in front of me.
I don't know if you're familiar with this area or not, but about 4 or 5 miles on around this road, it runs into Sky Lake.
Yeah, we just came from that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So but the sheriff said that they stay around water. They follow streams.
Yeah. Well, Sky Lake's got some strange things happen out there too.
Yes, there's fish out there. I know.
You ever heard anything strange?
I have.
What's happened to you out at Sky Lake? Because
I mean, these were just noises that I heard.
We've investigated out there too, and
we heard some strange vocalizations out in there that we didn't know what they were. Still don't know what they were. They were like sounded like a lute, like a toot, like a horn.
Yeah, I mean, and it was years ago when we fished out there.
They got any fish in that lake? I didn't ever see nobody fishing it.
Oh man, that used to be one of the most popular lake around here. They got nice brimstone crappie. In fact, I caught a crappie out there about that long.
Wow.
It's
Well, that's
really-
reason enough to go to Sky Lake.
It is.
It's a beautiful place.
We appreciate it. I'm gonna get the camera off of you, so
Okay.
there we go. We appreciate it.
All right. Hopefully you're still here and you're back, and we're going to wrap up this video. First off, I want to say thanks to MK for everything he's done and everything he does for me. I mean, his teaching and educating and training and mentoring, you know, it means the world to me. And I really appreciate him allowing me to go with him on this follow-up to his case. This is strange, isn't it? I mean, what kind of chupacabra are we dealing with here? This thing is described by Mr. T as being huge. Most of the chupacabras that we have found here in Mississippi that are killed by hunters, or you know, they're hit by vehicles or whatever, they're not really that massive. They're not really that big. They're slick skinned, as Mr. T talks about. You know, they have all the attributes of what's described as the canine chupacabra. But Mr. T and, you know, Jim are describing something that is much bigger, more massive, and it has something in it that makes it want to go up on two legs, which is very strange, and I just found that very, very odd. And of course I went to Dogman, but again, I'm not seeing this being a Dogman. Honestly, I don't know what this is. My feelings kind of go towards this not being your typical chupacabra. The way the heads were removed, that just doesn't sound like something an animal could do. If they were removed in the fashion that Farmer Jim is talking about, and I have no reason to doubt him. MK has no reason to doubt him about this. So, what are we dealing with here? I mean, are we dealing with something that's got a paranormal aspect to it? I mean, again, the chupacabra, the head's being removed with a, dare I say, a surgical precision. I don't know, but obviously this is an area that deserves a lot of attention, and this is a case that again, I feel like needs to be followed up on, and hopefully I'm gonna be getting with MK about that, and maybe we can follow up on it now that hopefully we're heading into spring and the weather will be better. But there you have it. Again, title of this video: Killer Chupacabras in Mississippi, featuring MK Davis. I mean, the title says it all, and it's very apt. It's very descriptive of what really went down. So I'm going to sign off. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you liked it. Please tell your friends about the channel. Like and subscribe. I would appreciate it. Check out MK Davis's work. I mean, he's on Facebook. Very easy to find. I know he's got an appearance coming up at the Tennessee Cryptid Fest. I'm not sure the exact name of it, but that's coming up here in, I think, August. Nothing goes wrong, I'm planning on attending that. But like I say, MK's work is fascinating, and you should really check it out. Good guy, a great friend, and you know, somebody who means the world to me as far as helping me and, you know, steering me into the right path. So anyway, I'm gonna stop this video, get the cursor over here, and again, I appreciate you watching. Tell your friends about me. Tell your cryptid buddies about the channel, and you know, Unexplained Mississippi is over on Facebook. I've got a Unexplained Mississippi Bigfoot Dogman group lots of stuff, more to come. I appreciate you guys. You be safe and be careful out there, and God bless you. Catch you later. Bye.